What's good, everyone? This your boy JTL, and this is the first episode of Red Pill Respectfully. So before we get started, make sure you hit that subscription button and make sure you go ahead and hit that notification bell. All right. So this is the first episode. We're gonna have Derrick Jackson, as I know everybody heard this crazy mess. So we're gonna let him explain himself like he's doing in this video right here. So also, we just want y'all to know that this is the type of show we're going to be doing all the time, talking about things that's going on with relationships, the people that so-called quote-unquote is the best at it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure you hit that subscription button and that notification bell. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Peace.
All right, it says I'm live on YouTube. If you guys can hear me in the chat, say aye, please. Now I'm gonna try to go live here on Facebook. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're about to find out. All right, so hopefully you guys are tuned in here on Facebook and also tuned in here on YouTube. Let me see if I see any eyes in the comment section. So I'm here early, so people said, hey, let me see, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on my side. Can you guys see me? Say aye if you can see me and hear me. Okay. Oh, some people just put eye emojis. All right. I see some eyes. Let me go to Facebook. I'm doing something I typically don't do. All right, cool. I'm streaming from a camera or whatever. Okay. This thing is glitching because I'm on Wi-Fi. All right, so if you guys can see me, we're just gonna rock out like that. Let me move this book anyway. Cool. I know it's really glitchy, guys, because I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm not a big live streamer, as you guys probably already know. I don't even think my modem is in here. But if you can hear me, we're gonna go with it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. Actually, let's give it a couple more minutes. I may be still early. Yeah, I'm about 3 minutes early. So let's do a little housekeeping. So first off, thank you guys for being here. Before we even get started, I'm gonna take a couple of minutes to try to let people get here. It says glitching because the camera quality has to match the computer app quality. Okay. You know what? I may just come out. If it's glitching, somebody said it's not glitching. If it's glitching, then I may just start over. If you guys can hear me, I'm cool. Thank you guys for the condolences for everything personal. My time said about an hour early. No, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cool, let's just rock with it. First things first, man, it's gonna be, I'm already knowing, I can already see in the comments, there's about 3 groups of people in here. The first group are what I call the bloodthirsties. The bloodthirsties are people that don't like me, never liked me, been waiting on something, didn't even wait. Matter of fact, over these past 9 years, they even created a couple of things to try to get me caught up or try to have something against me. And now there's something semi-legitimate that has come out or come forward. So those people are here. And I want y'all to know, because I know, and I'm also not going to be speaking to them. Those people that hate me no matter what, hey man, you're entitled to whatever, but I'm not speaking to you. The second group of people, which is probably the minority of people, those people are those on the opposite extreme. Derrick can do no wrong. I don't care what Derrick is. Well, I won't say necessarily that's group number 2, but the Derrick can do no wrong is absolutely false. Okay, I deserve to be held accountable. If I did something wrong, I'm not above no law. I'm not above getting checked. That just is what it is. Make sure that for me or anybody else, you're not idolizing nobody. All right, if you separate the man from the actions or whatever the case, that's fine. But I would rather you just kind of decide after you hear me speak. Let's see here. The third group is who I'm going to be speaking to. And that's going to be the people that say, D, I find some value in what you do, whether I'm a supporter of your books, your videos, whatever, I find some value, but I got questions about where you're coming from with this stuff that you speak. I got questions. What's going on? Do you walk it like you talk it? Do you practice what you preach? So for that group of people, totally fair, legitimate concerns, expectations, question to ask. Do I practice what I preach? I'm going to be talking to you guys tonight. So thank y'all all for being here. I think we've kind of caught up to that. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time mark. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why did I make this about my book, Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other? Do I really need a publicity stunt for this? Do I need help selling this or anything like that? The answer is no. Of course, I want to get this into as many hands as possible, and I'll let you know why. But this book is a part of what I preach. Don't forget your crown, part of what I preach. The videos that I post, part of what I preach. In order for me to qualify, me letting you guys know whether or not I practice what I preach, I'm going to have to reference the books. And the most recent one is Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. And especially what we're going to talk about tonight is directly related to why I wrote this, what I put in this. Okay. So it probably, for those that are just getting in, I see somebody says slow down mode. Is it glitching? Anyway, let's keep it going. So everything really started back, honestly, when I wrote this book. Don't Forget Your Crown, and what I wrote it about. Me and my wife, we got back together in 2016. Now, what throws some people off about that is that we were messing around having sex before we got back together. We got back together, I think, in August of 2016. Later in 2016, August, September. We conceived the baby in January that was born in early October. You do the math if you want to, right? Now, I got roasted up and down, and guess what? I totally get why, because that's a shaky foundation. We had a baby. We wasn't even prepared to get in a relationship. Me knowing that this is a woman that I wanted, I went ahead and got down on one knee within a couple of months. It wasn't just because of the baby. I really was like, I've been unhappy doing my thing with these other chicks or whatever. I know this woman, her name is Danae, by the way, is the one that I want. Fast forward. Of course, that's a shaky foundation, trash foundation. Two people just riding high on love and emotion, and then being new parents right in the very beginning of a new marriage. That brings me up to some of the issues that we had that led to Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other is a biblically based manuscript game plan on how to let God restore your relationship or restore you, no matter how much you've been hurt in the past, broken you are, etc. Okay, so Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other talks about how to have your individual journey and how the journey is really not a journey, it's a fight. It talks about all these different things. Now, why did I even write this book? February 1st, this is something a lot of you did not know. February 1st, me and my wife separated. I'm talking official separation. Before that, we had like an unofficial separation. I'm not at the house, she's not at the house, we're not talking, we not blah, blah, blah. February 1st is the official mutual. I said, look, I don't think this is going to work. Separation. We had some challenges before that. February 4th, I gave my life to Christ. I said, God, I can't handle this. I need you to come in and help me out. That was on February 4th, the exact same day. Danae, my wife, she packed up the kids and left the crib, went 1,500 miles away to her mom's crib. All right. Fast forward, because I'm trying to get to the point. I know what a lot of people really want to talk about, some of the stuff that has been swirling around or whatever, right? Fast forward a couple of months. In those couple of months, we were working on the marriage. Hey, maybe we can make this work. We're praying. We're going to church about this. Now we're both in Christ. She was already a Christian. I'm a new Christian. And it's not working. Nothing that I implement is working. Nothing that we're having in these conversations is working. Basically start losing hope around, I would say, May. Then we had a disagreement about whether or not to even have the kids here at my place or, up there with her mom. Matter of fact, let's do some fact checking. If somebody wants to pull up my YouTube channel, you can see in the earlier part of 2020 where I'm doing my videos, what you'll see is I'm in Airbnbs up in Denver. I was flying back and forth over and over again, right? And again, guys, people in the comments, I told y'all the bloodthirsties are here and they're going to try to dominate the comment section. Ignore them. All right. Anyway, even with all of that being said, I'm flying up. We're meeting with pastors. We're doing this. We're doing that. Things are not working. Around May is whenever we started losing, like both of us started feeling, mainly her though. And then we had an argument about where the kids were going to be, whether they're going to be with me on this date or her with that date. And then lawyers got introduced. Shortly after lawyers got introduced, I realized she wasn't wearing her ring. Shortly after that, because we're continuing to talk as much as possible, we stopped talking. Most of our conversation is in text message. And then we have a conversation. When we do have a conversation, she's letting me know, like, whatever you need to do because you're not my responsibility. I'm not linked to you. Like, we are together, but right now I understand if you got to go out and do whatever. Now, what that spoke to me was, I don't care if you're going to be with other women, et cetera, et cetera. But that wasn't my green light. My issue is this. At that point, I had a beef with God. I gave my life to Christ on February 4th, 2020. Matter of fact, some of y'all that follow my Twitter may have seen me a couple of weeks ago talking about how I just hit my 1-year mark. I gave my life to Christ and my whole life fell apart. My marriage fell apart. At this point, I'm not seeing my kids. I'm helping people best I can, but that's not giving me fulfillment. I got money, I got this, that, and the other. And I really honestly just went to a place of effort. Just screw it. I don't care no more. I don't care about being a good man because look where it's got me. I don't care about serving God because look where it's got me, right? That was in May. I would say June, conversation is slowing down. She's waiting for a lawyer to get back to her. And what I'm getting to is the point where I hit rock bottom, because I did hit a rock bottom, and where God pulled us from. And then this is how all of this came to be. June, we talking about my birthday. She basically lets me know there's no plan for her to be around on my birthday. Okay. Now I'm in screw it mode, F it mode. I'm hitting up old chicks. I really don't care at this point. I don't care about my reputation. I don't care about the business. I don't care about any of that. One of those people was a girl named Candace. She's from Florida, Orlando, Florida. Girl I'd have known, at least been acquainted with for a couple of years, right? Last time I think I seen her was back in 2016 before me and my wife got together. I hit Candace up. I'm going to come down to Miami. We're going to kick it. I'm going to get a yacht, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. And we're going to do a Q&A right after this. Here's the thing. So me and Candace have had a sexual relationship without actually having sex all of these years, right? So we go hang out. We're on the yacht. We're doing our thing. Friends are there. We come back to my Airbnb. Everybody's having a kickback. She leaves. Everybody leaves. My boys leave. She leaves, everything. She comes back the next day because we're going to go out to eat. And for some reason, she needed to use my charger first thing in the morning. I didn't really find that odd. I didn't think nothing about it. What I didn't know was Candace was taking pictures of my feet. Found that out later. Okay. Next thing I know, we kicking it, we chilling. We actually go meet up with one of her friends at a brunch spot. We leave there, and what was it? A couple of weeks later, I'm like, look, I'm about to do something for my birthday. Do you want to come out? Got her friends out. Long story short, her friends and I would say about 25 to 30 people. We having a mansion party. We tripping out. I'm smoking. I'm getting high. Still no sex. But she wants to use the bathroom. She wants to go and use my charger whenever we did the house tour with a couple of people. She wants to stop and do this, stop and do that. I didn't know what was going on until later on, that the entire time she was trying to take pictures of me as I'm walking in and out. Okay, I didn't know that, right? Cool. Fast forward to, I'm talking to my mentor because at this point, I'm not feeling where I'm at. I'm breaking down. I don't want to do anything productive. If you look at my videos from, what was it? If you look at my videos from June, about June 10th to September 10th, you'll see me post about 2 to 3 times. Talking to my mentor, I basically just had this whole meltdown about nothing is satisfactory. God don't love me. My wife is rejecting me. I'm not able to see my kids. And something that he told me basically changed my life. And he said, D, the reason why you're not happy, the reason why nothing is lining up the way that you want it, is because you verbally gave your life to Christ, but you didn't submit your life to Christ. You verbalized it, you said it, you accepted him, but you didn't walk with him. You didn't walk in according to his word. You're still holding on to some things. Okay. That was probably, I think, July 27th or something like that. My wife is getting ready to come back in town. We haven't had much further dialogue about the divorce or anything like that, but we haven't rekindled anything. So at that point, what I decided was, okay, the marriage is done. But in order for me to have an opportunity to have this happiness or have this fulfillment that I'm looking for, I have to come into alignment with God. And that means even if my wife is ring off, totally not talking to me, even if whatever, I won't even say depressed, but really in a bad space, even if whatever, in order for me to really connect with God, I got to clear some things out. So I threw away my liquor. I threw away every bit of other things that I was using. I cut off everybody, Candace included. Now, I won't say I gave an explanation. All I said was this ain't right, and we don't need to talk again until this divorce is final. The whole time we have been talking, I was letting her know, hey, we're separated. I'm just doing my thing. I'm chilling. I'm kicking it. All that other good stuff. Which, by the way, I'll be honest with you. I won't necessarily say I recommend. I believe I preached on it. Somebody fact check me. Whenever I've talked on this subject, my whole dialogue has been that you don't want to deal with a man who's separated because he may still have feelings for his wife. I mean, he may be lying to you. In my case, I definitely had feelings for my wife, but I thought we were over and I wasn't lying. So am I practicing what I preach? I guess so. So anyway, I sent her that text message. I blocked her on everything. In the past, what I would do is, and this is what caused a lot of issues even in my marriage, I would mostly cut somebody off. I would end communication, but I wouldn't cut it. I wouldn't completely obliterate. I wouldn't completely close every door to that part of my life. All right. It was only on that day, and don't get me wrong, this wasn't immediate. It was only on that day where I started seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. My anxiety is not nearly where it was. Me not wanting to do this, not caring to inspire anybody, not nearly where it was. Even in terms of me and Danae's communication, she still went forward. By the way, I wish I had printed this out because I believe you can actually search this. She filed for divorce. Some people may say, "Oh, Derrick, was the separation really real?" She filed for the divorce. The lawyers were in. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to my email. Trey Sauls is my lawyer. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know. It's not showing. Can you guys see the date? Okay, you can't see the date. I should have studied how to do this. I've seen some questions in there. I'm gonna get to the questions right after. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get to the questions right after. Anyway, at this point, she goes through and she files for divorce. And yes, this entire time, I'm sitting there breaking down. I'm sitting in my marriage is trash. Even though I'm not posting regularly, I haven't completely stopped. So if you want to say like, Derrick, that's, you tripping for not coming forward and saying that your own marriage is in shambles or whatever. That's what I definitely did. But she filed for divorce. I believe it was officially filed on the 28th of August. But by the end of that month, we finally, coming into alignment with God's way, finally allowed for us to start having real conversations. It's like you can kind of depend on the way that you want to do things. You can kind of depend on what you think is going to be best, your own intellect, your own knowledge. But what I said in this book, and this is how it all ties in, it wasn't until I learned that I can have all the knowledge in the world, I can have all the intellect in the world. But whenever you're in a spiritual covenant, when you're in a covenant with God, you can't do it by your own judgment. You can't do it by your own thought processes, your own reason, your own logic, right? That was the end of August. I believe it was about a mid-September where we ended up at the same church event, and the pastor was willing to see us in the back after church and all of that stuff. And we basically had a one-on-one with him. And that's where we decided we were going to take divorce completely off the table. Taking divorce completely off the table was such a huge turnaround because just 2 or 3 months prior, she wasn't talking to me. We weren't talking. And I'll let her talk for herself if she's able to come down here in a little bit. She's putting the kids to bed. She's a strong woman of God. She has her own voice. But we weren't talking, weren't doing anything, right? And here we are taking divorce completely off the table and now talking about our future again. So in that time, with godly counsel and with putting everybody back where they're supposed to go, because both of us had let some outsiders in. Candace was only one of mine, but my wife did too, and I don't think it was other guys. I'm not trying to insinuate that. But outsiders were allowed in, something that I talked about in Don't Forget Your Crown that you're not supposed to do. I'm referencing this because this is what I preach. So wisdom is one of those things that you can either listen to it, heed it, or not. Either way, you're going to eat the fruit of it. That was in September. By the end of December, me and her, I'm talking about crushing the honeymoon stage. Crushing the honeymoon stage. Now, what had to happen in order for that to go down? Well, first off, there was a complete purge of everything that was not of God. There was a complete submission to God. Some of you may look at my YouTube videos. Anybody in the comment section, you may be able to peek that since August, I haven't cussed in any of my videos. I haven't said Team Jackson was happening. Why is that? Because my platform is not my platform anymore. I completely have come into the submission of Christ. You may look on Twitter and see certain things that I've said, acknowledging Christ, acknowledging God. Now, these are just like small, I guess, evidences, but since August, the beginning of August, I would say, not only my marital life, not only my internal peace, but even the impact that I'm having on people, not just in dating and relationships, but now in marriage, completely skyrocketed. So that's only a piece of my testimony. That is according to what I've preached in my books. That is according to what I've preached in my videos. I am absolutely cool with being held accountable. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I have no problem saying what I did was wrong. But let me be very clear. In dealing with that girl, while I was actually separated, a couple of weeks before the divorce was filed, it wasn't wrong necessarily according to my old logic. Why was it wrong? It was wrong because I was in a covenant with God, and I only was making a contingent based on my wife. I was only making a contingent based on what she said. Well, we're not dealing with each other. Well, she's not meeting my needs. And in that, I think anybody is kind of setting themselves up to fail. Even if the divorce goes through, I had to get to a place where no matter what, I'm honoring my commitment to God first, my wife second, the marriage second. And that's with the marriage completely gone, her all but guaranteeing that she was out the door. So that is the gist of it. Like I said, guys, if you look in the comments, you're going to see the bloodthirsties. They really don't care. But the whole Derrick got caught cheating in his wife's bed is BS. Complete BS. I'll own up to anything that I did, and I deserve to be held accountable for anything that I did. If I was living a double life, it was trying to encourage people when I was discouraged. It was trying to help people build healthy relationships when my relationship was dismantled, disheveled. I absolutely did that. So at some point, I guess we'll get a fix for that. But let's go ahead and go to the comments. Okay. Let's see. They're kind of moving fast. I don't know if you guys can even hear me. Let's see here. Somebody said, why did I ghost old girl? Good question. So I texted her, what we're doing ain't right. What we're doing ain't right. We don't need to talk again until this divorce is final, right? So for me, my own logic, I could definitely go about saying, hey, just so we're in the right path of things, just so your feelings aren't hurt, I want to let you down easy. I want to do this, that, and the other. But that's not biblical. That's not biblical. That's according to my own sense. That's according to my own logic. Now, if I had it my way, what I would do is instead of letting her down easy or not ghosting her or anything like that, I just wouldn't have texted her to begin with. I just wouldn't have reconnected to begin with. So I'm fine with being wrong for that. Let's see here. But I'm a big proponent of, especially since I came in full submission, that you cannot save everybody else's feelings, especially when it's at the cost of somebody who matters most. You can't go sparing everybody else's feelings. You can't go giving 2 weeks notices. I gave a message to basically say, and I didn't basically say it, to say, I'm not going to talk to you until this divorce is final. And I cut it right then. After that, I just have to accept what comes with it. Let's see here. Said, why run to the next when you're not over the ex? I absolutely agree. And let me make something clear. What's up, babe? Want to come in? Hmm? Oh, okay. You can pull up a chair if you want to. Let's see here. Somebody said, did I sleep with her? No, I did not sleep with her. I never slept with her. Our relationship was sexual in nature from day one. I've been acquainted with her 9 or 10 years or something like that. And it was like through Twitter, but I did not sleep with her. Why I did not sleep with her? Honestly, I'm not even going to say I was on some type of vibe like I feel like, oh, my values are this. I want to make sure I'm respecting vows. At that point, I wasn't even thinking much about the marriage. I was on some rebellion to God type stuff. I was on some screw it all type stuff. I didn't sleep with her or anybody for that matter because I got to get deep. I'm not able to perform when I'm super stressed. I didn't even have confidence that I could do something in that capacity. That's why I hit her up instead of somebody that I had actually had sexual relations with. I hit her up because we've always been able to do that. Just keep in contact, just talk, just flirt, and keep it at that. So let's see here. Let me go over to Facebook. Let's see. Yeah, I want to be clear. I want to be clear. She's not innocent. She's not innocent. But I'm not a big fan of blaming people for possibly having ill intentions or whatever. Whenever you're the person who put them in position, when you're the person who opened the door to them. There's a million people out there who may have bad intentions. Hers being bad, I can't necessarily say they're good if she's taking pictures, with my back, but that's beside the point. At the end of the day, each one of us, especially if you're in a committed relationship, if you're separated during a marriage, you're the common denominator. You're the gatekeeper. So let me be very clear. Derrick is not a victim. Derrick wasn't tricked. Whether preyed on or not, Derrick wasn't basically, forced into anything. That's not what happened here. Derrick was in a place of screw this, it's over as far as the marriage, but screw this in terms of doing things God's way. And that's where Derrick was acting from. Derrick's no victim. Let me be very, very clear about that. Somebody said, why do you feel the need to explain yourself? Well, let me be very clear. It's not so much explaining myself. What I'm trying to do is let everybody know, one, not only why I wrote this book, but hopefully letting you know that you cannot rely on your own feelings, your own intellect, your own way of doing things if you're trying to be successful with anything God is involved in. So a marital covenant, you can't go into a marital covenant, and this is my experience, this is my testimony. You can't go into a marital covenant thinking you're going to do it strictly off emotion, off your intellect. That's even if you're somebody that has all the intellect in the world. At some point, you're going to fall. It's faulty ground to stand on, thinking you can do this all by yourself. You definitely can't do it based on your heart. The Bible talks about the heart being deceptive for a reason. You can't do it based on emotions. You can't do it based on your perception. So if you read this book, for anybody who's already read it, you can vouch for it in the comments. The whole book talks about how you have to come under the submission of God. You have to do things God's way. You can't half do it, kind of do it, sort of do it, in your own time do it. You have to do things the kingdom way. Let's see here. So somebody talking about restarting the router. Can I restart it? No, it's a little glitchy right now. Denise says, I'm glad that you put God as a... Oh. Denise says, oh, you watching? Denise says, I'm glad that you put God as the head of your life. Now he will lead you in the right path. Everyone makes mistakes and God has forgiven you. Absolutely. All right. So I think that's about all. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I might, because I wasn't able to go live on Instagram, I might just do a live chat on Instagram or follow up on Twitter. If y'all want that, let me know. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.